Hello Royals and welcome back to Happy Blonde. Today we are going to be learning how to achieve Snow White's makeup look. We are going to base ourselves off her interpretation in the animated 1937 version, as well as how she is performed at the Disney parks and resorts. Snow White has very distinctive makeup. It might seem like it is very simple, but it's not. It is a old Hollywood glam type of look, so there are a lot of shadows involved, and keep in mind that Snow White in her story is 14 years old, so you still have to look very glamorous and put together, but at the same time very innocent. Before starting this video, hi, my name is Shirley, better known as Happy Blonde on social media, and I am your guide to the princess lifestyle, performance, and fashion. Let's get into it. Just like all of my Disney princesses, I use almost the exact same base for each and every one of them. Touch of primer to start off. LA Colors concealer for my under eyes because princesses don't have under eyes, specifically Snow White. Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation in Dewy. Obsessed with the Moira concealer. This is the shade Oatmeal. And for Snow White, since her skin is so fair, I like to go in with the Maybelline Fit Me foundation in the actual shade Fairlight. I'm gonna pop this in and I'll be right back. This is how my base is looking. It's a very clear canvas, no under eyes, no nothing. So I'm gonna bring you guys in a little bit closer so that we can start working on our eyes. Let's talk about Snow White's eyebrows. They are extremely dark. So yes, you are going to go in with a very dark brown or black preferably. I like to mix and match both. I love this Beauty Creations eyebrow palette and I use the shade Ebony to start off. So basically what I like to do, I like to keep my eyebrows thin for Snow because obviously she does have thin eyebrows. And I like to fully draw in the tail of the brow, just like that, and then start adding specks of color in the front. Now I'm gonna switch to my Mickey and Friends Morphe palette. I get so many questions about this palette because it has so many colors. I believe it is discontinued, but there is a ColourPop palette that has a ton of colors, and that is a great dupe for this one. So going in with black, and I am going to apply a lot of black towards the tail and then just wisps towards the front. That way it is a lot more natural and you don't have like two blocks of eyebrows. Just like that. Look at the difference between this brow and this brow. I'm gonna finish this one and be right back. Just like that. I like to clean my brows. I don't know if that's very 2016 of me, but I do like to clean my brows with concealer, especially for Snow. I'm gonna like obviously blend that in with my eyeshadow in a bit, but let's go ahead and jump into eyeshadow. So Snow White's eyeshadow, it's a very ashy nude. So we are going to focus on a very monochromatic palette with a pop-in eyelid. Going back with that Mickey and Friends Morphe palette, and I am going to go in with this very ashy nude. It is called Big Dreamer, and I'm going to apply that on my crease. And Snow White's eye is a doe eye, so it's very important to slant down your eye color so that you start getting that doe eye effect, especially if you have big eyeballs like me. So you're gonna pack it really high up, almost touching your brow in this section. That is highly pigmented. And then we're gonna narrow that back down. And on the lower lash line, it's very important. This is kind of like a smoked out nude, if that makes sense at all. This is gonna be very controversial, but I need to add a little bit of warmth to my face so that I don't look that dead. So I'm gonna go in with the ColourPop One and Done palette. This is a beautiful nudes and pinks palette, perfect for Snow, Aurora, Barbie, all of those characters. And I'm gonna go in with this shade right here, which is Bingo, and actually, that looks very warm on camera, but I promise you it is not that warm. And I am going to apply that to my outer edges, keeping in mind that obviously you need to slant it downwards to get that doe eye effect. There and there. I like to pack the pigment first and then start mixing. Notice how I'm only taking it halfway. That looks so pigmented on camera. And I'm gonna go back with Big Dreamer and really pull the look together so that it keeps that ashy tone. And after a ton of blending, it should look something like this, where you have a mix of kind of warm, kind of ash, but it's mostly ash all together, and obviously extending everything to your lower lash line. Now we're gonna go in with my favorite part. This is the ColourPop I'm Wishing Super Shock Shadow. It is Snow White's color, and obviously I am going to apply that all over my lid. I love having shimmer shadows for my characters, and usually Snow White is almost like a beige, but I feel like this tone really brings the makeup look together. Again, you don't have to do a shimmer shade on the lid. It's just something I do to add a little bit of more magic to my characters. And I'm gonna go all over. You can leave it like that and go back to blending, but I am a very extra princess, so I'm gonna go back with that ColourPop shadow, and I'm gonna go in with this one on top. And now, because we have a very hot mess, we're gonna go back in with the brush that you used for your crease and blend everything together and really bring down the shadow on the edge right over here. Kill it down on that edge. This is something optional that I do with every single one of my characters just to add a little me factor. I like to go in the inner corners and add a very nice highlight or shimmer tone to really bring the look together. Sometimes it is an opposite tone, sometimes it's a complementary monochromatic tone. Today we are keeping monochromatic. I'm gonna go in with this ColourPop highlighter. This is the Making Memories pressed highlighter. It's a beautiful white that I'm gonna later on use again, but I'm gonna go in with a flat brush and I'm gonna go ahead and add that to my center and really drag it upwards. Notice how much it opens up my eyes. Hold up a minute. Like, guys, that is insane. I love doing that with all of my characters. I feel like it makes me look more realistic, cartoony, if that makes any sense at all. Like, these cartoons, they're very put together, but I like them to look put together yet be realistic at the same time. So I don't know if that made any sense at all, but there's that liquid liner. I'm gonna go do off camera. I always use the NYX liquid liner in black. I swear by it. It is my trusty go-to, but I can never do it on camera, so I'm gonna go do my liner and come back and explain what I did. I just did that one too many times, but it is a fat baby wing. I love keeping it fat because it makes me look a lot more innocent, but I'm going to give my eyes a break and let's go to the face. For Snow White, I do like to contour. I do feel like she has pronounced cheekbones and I gotta chisel my jawline just a little bit more. So I like to go in with the Belgian Waffle Contour Palette, and I am going to go in with a mixture of buttermilk and batter. How to honestly know if you have to contour as a character is an easy comparison and contrast exercise of looking at your features, looking at your character's features, and seeing where's the gray area in between that you gotta fill. Does your character have more jawlines than you? Do you have bigger cheekbones than she does? And based on that, just essentially contouring is adding shadows wherever it is that you have a difference in features, and highlighting is just really bringing forward those features. So they should go hand in hand. Let's go for the big winner for Snow White, and that is her cheeks. Snow White has very, very, very blushed cheeks, so it is important to go in with a potent blush, but really build onto it. You know, don't just splatter a circle of blush on your face. I like to go with the I Heart Revolution Tangled Eyeshadow and Blush Palette. And I like this shade down here, Live Your Dream. It is a beautiful, very potent pink, but I feel like it has like, I don't know, like a nice cherry undertone or color. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but I like to go in and just tap, 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 and then start blending everything together. Starting off in the apples of my cheeks. Snow White has very pronounced blush cheekbones, like I mentioned. So really start off, smile just a little, just like that, and then start packing on. And really bring it forward to your face. I like to apply blush everywhere as a princess. I feel like princesses are very rosy and glowy, so blush and highlight definitely go in all directions. I'm gonna go back with the ColourPop highlighter, and I am going to use that as my actual highlight and apply it where I usually would, pretty high, because Snow White does have a nice highlight going on that can easily blend the blush better and seamlessly. On my brow bone, really pack it in there. That is so reflective right now. Tip of my nose, bridge of my nose. This is such a potent highlighter. I honestly didn't remember that this was this potent. Cupid's bow. Oh my gosh, I look like a disco ball. If you feel, like myself, that you apply a lot of something and you need to blend, just go in with a clean brush and really brush out everything so that it looks a little bit more blended. To finish off the eyes, I am going to go in before my lashes with a white pencil liner and tightline my waterline. I know that a lot of people are skeptical about white. If you are really skeptical about using white, just use beige, honestly, but this really brightens up your eyeball a lot. Brought you in closer because we're gonna do our lashes. For lashes, honestly, I use whatever mascara I have in hand right now. This is the Beverly Hills mascara. It's obviously black, but the important part about your lashes, specifically with Snow White, is to not forget your bottom lashes. They're so important. Just like that. Okay, so while that dries, I am going to go ahead and prep my lashes. I use these bottom lashes. They are wispy lashes from Kiss or Ardell. And while I'm prepping my lashes, I am going to give you guys a couple tips that are really gonna take, whether that's, you know, your Snow White or your princess makeup, to a whole different level. First of all, use very potent glue. This is the Kiss Strip Lash Adhesive. I like to use the clear one. I know that a lot of princesses like the black one. I honestly don't trust myself with the black one in case I make a mistake. I just like the clear one, and I really coat every inch of my lashes, like tip to tip. It's always good to just coat one, then prep the other, let them be, get tacky, you know, clean up your makeup vanity while you're at it because you probably have a mess going on by now. But before applying your lashes, cut them. Not every single eyeball is the exact same size, obviously. So very, very important for you to, you know, roughly measure your lashes and know where you want to place them. That is another tip that I'm gonna give you in a couple seconds whenever I am placing them, but definitely pre-cut your lashes before you put them on. Always carry lash glue with you. I cannot begin to tell you the amount of times that we have needed lash glue, literally seconds before walking into a party. So do a little makeup bag with your essentials, a powder, your lipstick, liquid eyeliner, you can never go wrong with that one, and some lash glue. It will honestly do miracles for you. So I'm gonna let these get tacky and start putting them on. So I just put on the first eyelash, and notice how I slanted it downwards towards the edge, and that is to help with the doe eye effect. So measure from the top where you want roughly your lash to go because you are supposed to pre-cut it. slant the tip wherever you want it to go. If it's a doe eye, it's gonna go downwards. If it's an extended eye, it's gonna go upwards. And then glue the remaining edge and press, press, press. If you can't close one eye like I can, grab a little brush and just press it and secure it. Last thing we need is lips. This is the ColourPop lipstick. It is Snow White's beautiful shade. It is the collab that Disney did with ColourPop, and it is a stunning red. Snow White's lips are very, very full on the bottom, and they have a really cute heart at the top. It is kind of like a heart, so to achieve that look, I'm gonna go ahead and draw my bottom lip. Then I'm gonna do a little heart on my Cupid's bow, just like that, and then I am going to extend that very thinly and connect it to the bottom lip. Like that. I am going to get into costume and put my wig and close up the look. And this is how Snow White's makeup looks in the end with the wig, the costume. I feel like everything just pulls in together, and it is such a stunning look to strut. I feel like it is a makeup look that looks good on almost everybody, even though a lot of people are very skeptical about performing as Snow White. If you have any questions about her makeup, leave them in the comment section down below. Go ahead and check my other princess makeup tutorials. I know that there are a ton more coming, and be sure to stay tuned for my other princess content. Happy Blonde signing off, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!